what do you want to talk about? We're talking about mid-match today.
Yeah, so this is following backstage area for the first week. This week, this episode, last episode.
We did pre-match.
It's been a long week. Yeah. We did pre-match. This time we're going to focus on mid-match. We're going to discuss reversals, maneuvers, and then actions, because those are kind of in the order of what you'll see in quantity in Backlash decks, and kind of importance.
Yeah, it's true. Just looking at the list here, I think I was like, what is the one virtual card that goes in every Backlash deck? And I believe it is your reach exceeds your grasp. I don't think I've seen a virtual deck without it. Basically, should we read the text? Go over it?
We could do just...
Reverse any non-superstar specific card with printed fortitude greater than your opponent's fortitude rating. So that's the big concept, is that you're ending your opponent's turn and you're stopping a maneuver that they normally wouldn't be able to play. So hopefully next turn it goes back to their hand. So the reverse card goes back to their hand. So if they use something to reduce it, basically you've stopped that effect. If it's something that has a permanent -2 reduction or something and you use that, well, you just ended their turn and you got a turn, which I think is equally important in virtual Raw Deal.
But like, because of this card, you're not going to see precision clothesline anymore. Like it doesn't work at the beginning. Like in Classic,
it's too much of a price to pay.
It doesn't hit just a maneuver, it hits any non-specific card.
Right.
But also hits any multi-volley maneuver.
Yeah, which is, some of them are really powerful, punch after punch, maneuver of doom, things like that. So make sure you use it as a first reversal so it doesn't go back to their hand if you're reversing a volley maneuver.
And it has an activated card effect as well.
Where during your turn, you can remove this card from the game and then ignore any play restrictions from his effects for the rest of the turn. This effect cannot be reversed. So if you're getting full on pre-match slots or mid-match slots, you can just ace it out of your ring, opens up another slot. I think like the biggest effect is it stops the volley effect.
Yes.
I'm not sure what else it gets around. Maybe if Keebler's Cookies, where you can't play maneuvers during a turn, you can ace that and then you can play maneuvers again. But I think mainly for volley, if your opponent's going for that volley lock, you can just ace it and continue to play actions when you normally wouldn't be able to play actions and open up that mid-match slot. So first card that goes in any deck in virtual, your reach exceeds your grasp, right next to restricted use for me, but that's a classic card.
Another one I'll talk about is turning everything upside down. It's a action reversal hybrid. Pretty much what it is, it's the new Yours Graceful as a Cow on Ice. It has RMS, so you don't have to worry about getting plunged, your opponent affecting your reversals. Permanent and unique. As a reversal, it's 0 fortitude, so it's a printed 6. When you have lower fortitude, so it doesn't count hand like Yours Graceful does, reverse any card that's not the first or second played this turn. As an action, when you have lower fortitude, you can't respond to it, which is a popular theme in Raw Deal. It's pretty much the new cannot be reversed, and there's nothing that affects a card that cannot be responded. So these cards are generally pretty good. You put the card, so you're playing it, they can't respond to it. You reveal the top 3 cards of your arsenal. You put any cards of D3 or less into your ring face down and shuffle. So face down's a new effect that was added to the game, where anything that is not RMS active or permanent, right, can be moved face down. There's very limited effects in the game. So when this card's in your ring, once during each of your turns, you could choose one face down card in your ring that does not have "win the game" in the text, and end your turn. And flip it over. So with this as an action, if you're getting, say, judo choke or those maneuvers, you get to flip them over for free. You're gaining that fortitude, and there's no cost to it, so it's not an activated.
I've never seen it played as an action yet. I'm sure people have looked at it and tinkered around with ideas to make it work, but it's definitely, the reversal is the highlight. That it's RMS, it's 0 fortitude, and it's unique, so it can stop atomic lariats. It can stop But well, anything that requires a unique reversal. So some people replace it with cow, some people add it in with cow. It comes down to preference, because if some people see the turning everything upside down or cow on ice, they assume you're not packing the other one. And if you are, well, then you're stopping the turn, right? So
I've had this played against me as an action, actually. I played the 2x2, which gives me an option to flip 2 cards of my opponent's ring face down. The following turn he played this, could not be responded to, and then he proceeded to flip back overs through all these years.
Oh, nice.
To prevent a game loss.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, there's a perfect scenario where if your opponent's overturning your cards, you can get them back up. Alright, and then the third reversal that we chose, this is going to be an old school brawl. It can only be played when your opponent plays a maneuver with a reversal restriction from a card that is not his first maneuver with a restriction this turn. So we're thinking like clutch apply is the first thing that comes to mind with me. The blank the maneuver's text and damage, he discards 2 random cards and end his turn. So you're blanking the text and damage, he still gets the fortitude, it still goes in his ring area, but you're ending the turn, you're making them discard 2, you're getting 2 fortitude. On top of that, this card is in your ring, so it has an ongoing effect, and he plays a non-superstar specific maneuver with a reversal restriction from a card that is not his first maneuver played that turn. With a reversal restriction, he overturns 2. So again, a little bit wordy, but he goes for the clutch apply again next turn. He'd have to overturn 2 to play the apply. So it just gets around all that can only be reversed stuff. Cannot be reversed stuff, what have you, that's very popular in Classic. So it's a card that I've started packing more of. I think I've only ever played it once. But again, it's that knowing that it's there, it's like Backlash. Like some people don't want to run into it, so they'll intentionally not play the second card with a reversal restriction every turn. So it's a hit and miss, and run into it if you want to. I think I've run into it a few times, and then the secondary text of when you do it again, you have to overturn 2. That's never affected me. So that's it.
It's that ending the turn.
Yeah.
So those are the reversals we're going to cover this time. There are others. There's some female. There's a female specific one. What I always do is go to the SoCal Raw Deal Facebook page. They have albums sorted by each type. Min-match reversal. Well, all min-match are actually pooled together. All pre-match pooled, actions, hybrids. It's a good resource, and it's easy to copy and print it.
Move on to maneuvers?
Yeah, let's go to maneuvers. I'll talk about Flawless Transition, which is just about packed in every deck if you're packing chain maneuvers. So it works like one of the panic maneuvers. So you play this 0-for-0 Flawless Transition with RMS. You immediately play a non-superstar specific printed chain maneuver that is 0 fortitude. When you play it, you choose for Flawless Transition to be grapple or submission, and he must reverse both in order for him to reverse both to end the turn.
No, they can reverse 1 and end the turn.
On overturn, it does. The idea of this is you're playing this.
Yeah.
Say I'm going to play a quick snap body slam and 0-for-4 chain. They have to discard 2 for the Flawless Transition chain trait, then 2 for the quick snap body slam, and then they get an attempt to reverse both.
Yeah.
They could choose to discard 2 and reverse one of them. However, you go to the damage taking part of the timing breakdown. So if they overturn a reversal for the quick snap body slam, ends the turn. Unlike the panic maneuvers where it says your opponent must reverse both.
Exactly. So it's pretty popular because you're making your opponent discard 4 cards for the chain trait if they want to stop you from getting that initial fortitude. So, great card.
This with Tech in a Bottle, the pre-match feud we talked about, it allows you to search for a chain maneuver, so that's when you search for your quick snap body slam. And turn 1, you can play both of these because there's no limitation to when you can play this. You could play it when you're both at 0 fortitude, you could play it when you're higher in fortitude. You could just open up the gate.
Yeah, which is a pretty popular play. So.
It's a must-pack.
Yeah, I think so. We have Perfectly Executed Tope. which is great with the High Flying Style. When you have High Flying Style in your ring, you can play this card from ringside. So that's what makes it great, is you're just playing it until it's successful. It can only be played after a successfully played maneuver. When you have High Flying Style in your ring, it can be played after a successfully played card. Cannot be reversed by the coach says today's the day. Put cards removed from the game on the bottom of your arsenal up to the number of SmackDown cards in your ring. So, great card to play after something like Turn the Match Upside Down or any of the cards listed on Interview by Mean Gene that you can't respond to. You can just throw this right after it, and you know you're hitting your follow-up. So, 4 Fortitude, 2 Stun, which is a nice bonus, 8 damage, and it has the RMS logo as well, so you can't boost it, but you keep throwing it till it sticks. And it bridges beautifully from follow transition and quick snap body slam. It bridges from the Japanese arm drags, which get a boost with High Flying Style and Cruiserweight Style action. So, yeah.
This is a very key card in one of the World Champs decks that he covers in the interview, and you can just see how potent this card can really be.
Cool.
The next one I was going to cover, Desperate Struggle. I'm not. It functions as another panic maneuver.
Yeah.
Instead, I want to talk about the new Dirty Low Blow. It's a throwback, unique 0 for 2, just like the old one, except it wasn't unique. However, when you have lower fortitude, can only be reversed from Arsenal. They're not touching this card.
Yeah, I think there's one card that reverses it. I think the WCW.
A unique 5 fortitude Arsenal reversal that can only be packed when you have the WCW allegiance.
Yeah, and I don't know if it only hits non-uniques or not.
I believe it hits it.
Yeah.
Correct us in the comments.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, that's the way heel decks are getting a guaranteed 2 fortitude. Basically, can't be responded to, except they can overturn on damage. But it has 1 stun as well. So.
And you can actually play it when you have equal or higher fortitude, but you don't get that protection from it. So if you're stuck with an old school wrestling match stipulation in play, you have no maneuvers in hand, you can toss one of these and hope they don't do more than 6 damage. Otherwise, it just wasn't worth doing.
Yeah, but it's there, right? It just doesn't. The protection's only when you're lower. I didn't realize that. I'm not a big heel player, so I didn't even look at the text on that.
Great card. We'll go to actions. I really like. I'll let you cover. Which one do you want to do?
I was gonna say Flurry of Finishers. That's probably my favorite action, which can be packed by stables. It's really can be a game ender for the most part. It's a game ender. Cannot be packed by home team or heat seekers. During a turn when you're a stable and you haven't played or activated any cards this turn, you may put this card from your Backlash into your ring, so basically they can't respond to it. Your next card played this turn can only... when your next card played this turn is a trademark, you may play 1 additional trademark finisher from hand, Backlash, or ringside with it, and you may ignore the can only be played text on one of those cards. Unless both maneuvers are reversed when played, both are considered played, and then after damage is resolved, your turn ends. So with a lot of stables, they have multiple specific trademark finishers, and even if they don't, there's lots of non-specific trademark finishers, finisher, dynamic finisher, what a maneuver throwback, old school pile driver. There's a lot of them, right? So I really like that card. You just, when you get your 25, 30, 35 fortitude and the game's almost over, you see if a manager just hit the ringside pile and you know one's in the ring area, you're just like, yep, flurry, hit these big trademarks and end it, or draw lots of stun. Or
what I like as well with this is it ignores the can only be played text on one of the trademark finishers. So anything with it can only be played after, so any of like your high risk base trademark finishers, but it also ignores the can only be played text for volley finisher and chain finisher
and
for the mid match
finisher.
And bash finisher.
Yeah, so no, bash finisher I don't think has a requirement, but what I did was I ran this and Wyatt's with the bash finisher, so it was always there, and then I think 2 of their trademarks have a can only be played after text. So I knew that I could always throw the bash finisher with one of these can only be played after text and ignore those, like Rowan's Big Splash. And so that's what I did with that deck. I don't think bash finisher has a requirement, but yeah, great card.
And then a good card that pairs with this, which I didn't even think of. This is a card that we hadn't played locally until we went down to FunkCon, and then every deck's playing it.
Yeah.
I almost lost to my opponent playing this card. See how it feels. So it works like the action where you're searching your opponent's deck for a trademark finisher. However, this one is, I think, way better.
Yeah.
So it's a 30 Fortitude trademark finisher action hybrid. And it can only be reversed by 2 non-hybrid reversal cards. So they're not touching this with Volley This. Mm-hmm. So you search his hand, Backlash, Arsenal, ringside for 1 trademark finisher. You add that card's damage, stun, and text to this card until the end of turn. Then he shuffles. Your opponent shuffles that trademark into his arsenal. And this card is -5D, -1 stun until the end of turn. This is bananas because...
Yeah.
If this resolves, he immediately just gets any trademark he wants.
Yeah, how it works is you basically blanket search the entire area except remove from game. Find whatever trademark you want, and then play it against him. Mm-hmm. So you can search his arsenal first, and if you don't see what you like, find it in his ringside or his hand, or search his arsenal just to see what he has left, which is a huge knowledge factor, and then look at his hand and see what reversals he has. If you do have to follow it up and it doesn't quite pin him, it's so good.
Like this with Flurry Finishers works. They're both in the mid-match.
Yeah.
But what's great about this is playing against stables is you play See How It Feels. It's successful, then you can just get to pick any trademark finisher you want with whatever text works for you in that situation. I had my opponent play GTS against me, and the text was, if not reversed from Arsenal, you win the game via pinfall. Yeah. So I was like, oh no.
And what does it do? 15 damage? 25 damage? But it was -5 from this, so it reduced your chance of reversing from Arsenal.
Oh yeah,
it was
that's
5
way
less
better.
damage, right? I was like,
It's a great card. Didn't see a lot of play for us locally here until we encountered it. Now I'm packing it in a lot of decks now. And to go back to old school wrestling match, this is another maneuver in your mid match that you could play in case you come into a dire time.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're playing 2 pain reversals to an action.
Next action we have is Overrated Superstar. I'm kind of on the fence about this card. It really depends what your deck's going for, but it's a 0 Fortitude, 1 damage, mid-match action. And this card's in your Backlash before the draw segment of the first turn of the game, and your opponent has more than 12 cards in his hand. When his printed hand size is 10 or more than 15 cards instead, you may put this card into your ring, and he discards 3 random cards. So discarding 3 random, really good. Getting 1 Fortitude, pretty good. You're just putting it into play, so you can't reverse it. But the thing that I don't like is that you're getting 1 Fortitude off it. It seems counterintuitive, but if you're just not running a bash deck, suddenly you're ahead of Fortitude, so on your opponent's first turn, they can panic with anything they want. They can dirty low blow. You can do anything that requires lower Fortitude because you played this 1 Fortitude card. When your opponent has more than 12 cards, so they obviously have a mitt full, discarding 3 random is kind of watered down a little bit. It'd be way more potent if it was against a smaller hand size, obviously. Mm-hmm. But that's just the card design. It kind of counters underrated Superstar, right? Whereas if your Superstar value is under 3, you can draw 3 additional cards, right? So I'm on the fence about it. It goes in some decks. It doesn't go in others. I'd obviously put it in a bash deck because it gets you that 4th Fortitude easily if you can do that. But
I really like it if you're going first. Mm-hmm. Because then you're getting 3 random cards. You could get a key reversal, and it just helps your opening turn that much more.
Yeah. So.
And it works well with
right?
Parts Unknown. It's a virtual venue where your hand size is +3, your opponent's is +2. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of
play them into it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I have just 2 kind of special ones to bring up, and it's Irish Whip and Throw into the Corner Turnbuckle throwbacks. So these take place of the setup actions that go into Arsenal. You could play them as an action, or you could put them into play. And what it is, it's an activated card effect. Discard 2 cards, and your next maneuver is considered to be played after one of those. So it's a nice flavor. You should be able to Irish Whip or throw whenever you want to.
And it doesn't take up deck space.
Mm.
So pretty cool. So that's pretty well the rundown of the mid-match on the getting into virtual segment. We were talking about actions this week. There aren't too many that are kind of what we consider must-packs. There are a few that if you're going Raw, there's the Raw Allegiance ones, there's the SmackDown Allegiance ones, there's a few that you play in specific situations, but we kind of pick the most popular ones that see play most frequently, and we'll just kind of do a rundown of perks and drawbacks of that. So first card you grabbed here comes the Cavalry. I think that is the most popular action in Virtual. Mm-hmm. It's a multi-action 10 fortitude that you shuffle 8 and draw up to 2, and it has bonuses if your opponent is a tag team, so it's unique. It's a multi. You pair that with Candace. Like I pair that with a couple Candaces, and that's the recovery that I run in most decks, because that's a high cost to volley. So I like it. It's in every one of my Virtual decks that can pack it. How about yourself? Do you pack it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bad tendency of packing it when a deck legally can't pack it, because it can't be packed by a tag. If you could pack tag team title belts, or if you're a stable. And a lot lately I've been playing superstars that can pack tag team belts or stables. So my first drafts usually contain this card, which goes to show like how good this card is. It's unique, so it gets around Rattlesnake's ability if you ever encounter him, but also gets around the old school cage match.
Yeah.
Even though you'd only then be able to shuffle in 7, but a card's a card.
Yeah. And it is shuffle up to 8. So I found one game I was playing, there was only 4 cards that I wanted, because I wanted a chance to draw 2 of those 4 or 1 of those 4. So I did choose to shuffle less. And it just gives you opportunities and chances.
You want to cover that one too?
Sure.
You play that more than me, I think.
I think so. Ref takes a bump. It's an action that basically when you play a maneuver and it's reversed by a non-unique printed D0 reversal, you can put the bump into your ring area and the maneuver stays in your ring area instead of going to ringside. So it's basically a way to get fortitude in this game. I find it especially effective with multis, because they're playing once is enough or get the F outs if they're only playing 1 reversal. So Ref takes a bump, hits those. If you're running the Evos and Rebels, you can't Ref bump into those. So multis that are greater than 8 damage, I find are the key cards to have in your hand with that.
I saw the Raw Guest GM Ref bump a Maneuver of Doom in the play, because he plays it as an 0 for 12.
Yeah.
Once is enough, he's like, okay, a Ref bump.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what he did against me. Classic Bulldog Lariat. Can't be reversed by D1 or greater, so you have to use a D0. And then he just Ref bumps, gets your 6 fortitude, and you hit the ground running from there.
I played a few times Stop Sign. It's a 15 for 5 foreign object action, but I haven't played it as an action.
Me neither.
I've only played it for its reversal, like equivalent effect. So when this card's in your hand, you can put it into your ring area to completely reverse a non-unique high-risk card, and he overturns 4 cards. So it's like any non-unique high-risk. Yeah, so it doesn't hit that 4 for 8 mid-match.
No, but it does hit the Hurricane Rana and Japanese Arm Drag that are listed on their Cruiserweight style action. So that did see quite a bit of play in our area when it first came out, and high risks were pretty popular when we first started getting into Virtual. There were lots of Johnny Nitros and John Morrisons, guys like that. Gail Kim, I think, was a lot of high risks. So yeah, it has its place. In a pinch, 5D multi-action, not a bad thing, especially as people kind of move away from sidewalk slam in favor of the backhand slap and unintended consequences. And I've got one thing to say, because they're uniques, and 2 of those are D0s, so people are slowly moving away from sidewalk slam, I'm seeing. So.
This also has an activated card effect that you'll see a lot when we cover the maneuvers. A lot of these foreign objects can be interacted with other maneuvers. So when it's in play, when you're playing a grapple throw, trademark, or trademark finisher. So two of those types are not virtual, this is virtual. Revolution type maneuvers without maintaining the text. You may choose this card until that maneuver you're playing finishes resolving. So its ace is when this card is chosen, put this card into your ringside pile, and your successfully played maneuver is +4D +1 stun. So table, ladder, and what's the other one? Chair.
TLC.
They're throwback unique maneuvers that when you can play them straight up as maneuvers, but when they're in play, they all have these similar effects where it's like you name a move, if it's successful, you ditch that move in your ring and you're getting a big bump of it. So no more table as an action, ladder in the ring. You're able to get these interactive maneuvers. You can play aggressively and ditch them to bump up the other effects. And I've actually done that once. I had the stop sign in play from a high risk, and I was able to use the activated card effect. Stop signs do a lot of damage, so.
Having kids, being tired. Yeah. One of the actions that we've started talking about recently was don't be a douchebag. Probably the most popular reversal in the game, but it also is an action that when you have lower fortitude, it cannot be reversed. Shuffle 2 cards from your ringside to your arsenal, does 2 damage, and when successful you can either draw a card or force him to discard one. And it's, again, unique, and it is permanent. So in a pinch, it's 2 damage that can't be reversed, shuffle 2, draw 1. It's a pretty neat card to have if you have to play something before you play another card. That may be a go-to thing. I know a lot of people like to save it because it's so versatile as a reversal. But in a pinch, you can play it as an action too.
Another one I like with heal decks, searching for this with a no-show, is when if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. It's an 8 for 2 cheater heal with RMS and an activated card effect. If it's unsuccessful, it goes into your ring instead, so you're getting guaranteed 2 fortitude off this card. But when successfully played, you can put up to 3 cards that are heal and or cheater from your ringside into your hand, and put 1 card from your ringside on top of your arsenal. I mean, you're picking up 3 heal cards, so managers, the rakes, strangleholds if you choose them. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Any other heal ones? Any heal maneuvers?
Yeah.
Applies. I keep taking chair shots. And then as an activated card effect, once during each of your turns, you can discard 1 Backlash card and 2 cards from hand, and then put 1 Backlash card from your ringside into your Backlash. So this is get you 10 fortitude, so you can get your King Interferes back, ready to fight, so you can keep getting back. It's a good cycling there. It's not permanent, unfortunately. However, if you can keep getting back, it's always going to... If it's in your hand, it's going to get into your ring area.
And I like that. I loved it in Fandango because he got a fortitude reduction for his knee, leg, spin and toe or something. So I could go clutch, apply first turn, but it would only get you 8 fortitude, and then this bridged you right to 10. So you had managers and King Interferes, as you said. So I really like that. And I'm sure there's a few other superstars that can clutch apply first turn. And you're stuck at 8, but you get that in. It's guaranteed you're getting 10. So.
It's great with the deck that can get that guaranteed face stretch. It was covered last episode with the World Champ, where he's always getting a guaranteed 8 for 8 through. I play this right into it, and then turn 1, you're at 10 fortitude.
Yep. Another card. So Commissioner Rules Throwback. It's one that our play area doesn't know exists, and you may not even know it exists because it was a Gen Con promo 1 year, so it's a little harder to find on the Team Canada online, but it's there. When you're William Regal, the mystery wrestler, a chairman, or a GM, it's multi-action, 6 fortitude. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a reversal card, he discards it. When you have lower fortitude, you may discard a card and choose 2 reversal cards instead. So it's almost like a double commish if you're lower fortitude. When played in Indianapolis, Indiana at Gen Con, do not discard for this card. So Pretty neat card. It's, again, unique. It can be a multi, winner lower. It's double commish. I like it. It's good. Not a lot of people know about it. So now you do if you did.
I mean, yeah, the 1 card discard to choose 2 reversals is great. I was working on Sheriff Austin, and he gets a reduced cost on his cards with GM in the text, so he actually gets this at 0 fortitude.
Nice.
GMs, William Regal, Mystery Wrestler, Chairman. I think Vince is the only chairman right now. Maybe McMahon Dynasty. And then GMs are, I think, 5 or 6 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, anything to get rid of cards for your opponent's hands.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Shocking Interference. It's another one of those classic actions from like the old WWF days, like the win if you can, cheat if you must. It's 12 fortitude. You can't search for it with no show. It's RMS, cheater, heel. Your opponent discards 6 cards as an action. I think that's pretty good.
It's really good. Yeah. I played it as an action on the weekend. Friday. It was, discard 6. So gross. I definitely prefer it as an action to a reversal. Like, it's good as a reversal because they can't spin Divine and douchebags and miss your chances when you're playing your reversal. But, man, making them pitch 6 cards, that's impressive. Yeah.
I want to talk about this one.
Yeah, I know that.
So, two time. This has been like a game changer for me several times. I got to play it as an action against your freaking hero in our first game. 22 fortitude, 2 damage, multi, unique, permanent, RMS, 2 stun value as an action and antic. This is we had Drew on the show, so this is his second world champ card. When you have lower fortitude, it can only be reversed by 2 reversal cards, and it's -2 fortitude for each D2 plus card in your opponent's ring. As an action, you choose 2 of the following. Draw up to 2 cards, shuffle up to 2 cards from your ringside into your arsenal, remove 2 cards in his ringside from the game. I got the hiccups. I'm so excited. Flip up to 2 D0 cards in his ring over. He puts 2 cards from his hand on the bottom of his arsenal, or he overturns 2 cards. This is one card that it's no matter what situation you're in, I think it's a great action to play. It's doing 2 damage, so if you make him overturn 2, there's 4 from arsenal.
Yeah.
You're shuffling 2, and you flip 2 cards over, so you can flip over through all these years or any other important pre-match, mid-match, flip over sustained damage.
Yeah. So you did against me. I think you flipped through all these years and sustained.
Yep. And as a reversal, it's just 0 fortitude reverses poke and shake.
Which we haven't seen in our play area in years. But apparently it's popular in virtual. So.
Maybe great action, because if your opponent gets really aggressive on you, he's just reducing the costs over and over.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I think we should just do it out of nowhere and then probably wrap up the action.
Okay. Let me talk about it.
It is a multi-action. It's basically a game changer, that's for sure. And I love that it's fitting for the title out of nowhere. As an action, you can search basically anywhere in play for a superstar-specific trademark finisher. Reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle, next card played this turn as a trademark. It's 4-2-0, and ignore that can only be played after text. And when you have lower fortitude, it now reads as can only be reversed from arsenal until the end of turn. The magic happens when you overturn this card as a reversal, when you have 15 cards or less. But anytime when you overturn as a reversal, it's 4-2-0. When overturning you have 15 cards or less, completely reverse any card and put this card in your ring. You may play this card as your first card on your turn as a play from hand, and your opponent cannot respond to it. So I think that's where it's awesome, because they can't reverse it. You get to search for your trademark. If you're lower, your opponent, the trademark can only be reversed from arsenal. So like, it's glorious if you have 15 cards or less, and or lower fortitude, you just hit your trademark out of nowhere.
But even it includes like trademarks removed from game too.
Yep.
Which is great because it's like you're getting any trademark from anywhere.
Except backstage area.
The off chance that it's there. I like it.
This one doesn't say search your ring. Oh, let's see how it feels. Yeah, that's right. Getting those two new cards confused. We didn't really play much out of nowhere or see how it feels before FunCon. I'm sure we've said that in every podcast since FunCon, but they're really good cards. So play them, people.
There are a few more that you could check out, like McMahon Intervention, Ready to Rumble. What else do I have here? And that's about it.
Yeah, there's a few others that fit certain builds, as we said, but those are the main ones that you're going to want to look at, top 10 or so.